Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm YA author MT Zimni, and today I just want to talk about the indie books that I read in 2024. As an author and a mother, I actually don't get a ton of reading done. So in 2024, I ended up reading 6 indie books that I want to talk about today. I know I'm only holding 4 here, but there were 2 others I just don't have the paperbacks of. So the first indie book I read in 2024 was Reading Buddies by Pentley, who also writes under the name Andrea Fink. I actually met Andrea at Emerald City Comic Con 2024 last year. We were both exhibiting authors, and not only is her writing fantastic, but she is the sweetest human. While I did snag this paperback copy of Reading Buddies from her, she also gave me an audio code. So I listened to the audiobook, which was narrated by Andrea Fink. She narrated her own book. And you guys, she did a fantastic job. Reading Buddies is a short and sweet contemporary fantasy that follows Danny as she gets a new job teaching at a Catholic school, but she's no longer Catholic herself, and she lives with her boyfriend. To further complicate things, her new coworker is very cute, very sweet, and also loves to read. As someone who doesn't read a ton of spice, I appreciated that this had none. It was a sweet, very hallmarky sort of love story that is perfect for those of us who still watch and read Twilight just to feel something. Overall, I found it clever, fun, wholesome, and just all around a really cute story. The next book I read in 2024 was The Curse of the MEKORI by Brooke, Clonts. I read this one via audiobook as well, and it was narrated by Tyler Pirung. This is a YA witchy academia story with excellent ADHD rep. The main character is from America, but she gets into a British boarding school, and Bree, upon moving to England and starting at her new school, immediately finds herself in the middle of a murder mystery involving witches and centuries-old dark forces. It's an academic setting with tangible characters. I have to shout out the narrator here because there were so many different accents for him to tackle, and he nailed all of them. What's extra fun is with the witchy vibes, there's a dash of historical fantasy as this secondary plot unravels as we watch Bree move through her plot. And this historical fantasy element sort of haunts the narrative of The Curse of the MEKORI. I read this book in the spring, but every time I turned on the audio, I felt like it was Halloween time. It was so immersive in that way. This book was sassy, spooky, and just had excellent ADHD rep. I know I already said that, but I felt like it warranted saying again. The third book I read in 2024 was Hungry as the Night by Robin Jefrey. This one I did read as an ebook, and I actually got to meet Robin Jefrey again last year at Emerald City Comic Con 2024, and we even sat on a panel together where we talked about what it's like to be an author on TikTok. This is a werewolf mystery, and Grace and Mason are our main characters. It's dual POV, and they are from different werewolf clans that exist on opposite ends of the globe. And now Grace and Mason must get over old feelings for each other to solve a string of bloody murders that is haunting both of their clans. If you love crime dramas but wish that there were more werewolves, then obviously this is going to be the perfect book for you. Now this is a standalone, but Robin Jeffries is, I understand, developing a larger world. She has another book called Bloody is the Night. I have not read it yet, but it also follows werewolf clans. These ones exist in LA. Overall, I found Hungry is the Night to be visceral, dark, and fast-paced, and I loved that it took place in my favorite city of Seattle. I will warn you, there is a bit of animal violence. That is something I am sensitive to, so you've been warned. The fourth indie book I read in 2024 was The Tyrant's Daughter by I.D. Marie. This is book 1 in the Legends of Pangaea series that I.D. Marie is currently putting out into the world. I believe the first 2 are out, and the 3rd one is about to come out later this month. I did read this one via audiobook. It was narrated by Zach Rosenfeld, and even though there are 3 different main POVs that the reader is pushed into, Zach Rosenfeld did an excellent job portraying every single one. And this book follows Ariane Murray, who is a mutant military princess who is now being forced to face her past to keep the world from free falling into all-out war. This is a fun and exciting new adult dystopian story that excellently blends elements of sci-fi with fantasy. You can tell when you read this, the way the world building is set up, that this was written by a woman in STEM. And it is so exciting to see things that I learned in school being put on the page. and being like repurposed into fantasy. This book also has something that I personally am a sucker for, and that would be the sad mentor character. I loved him. I worry for his future. I am scared to read the next book. This book is perfect for fans of Maximum Ride and the X-Men, but who also want something a little older than Maximum Ride. It's new adult. Overall, this was heart-pounding, heartfelt, and very imaginative. The 5th indie book I read in 2024 was The Assassin's Legacy by Libby Weber. This book is also part of a series, but I am to understand that the first book can function as a standalone if you want it to. It's dual POV. I did this one on audiobook as well. It was narrated by Michael Neeb, and just like with Zach Rosenfeld, he did an excellent job navigating the 2 different POVs. This book follows a secret spy organization that's dedicated to protecting the innocent, but now there are forces within the legacy that are trying to make a power grab, and this forces lifelong friends, Aaron and Luke, onto opposite sides in this intricate game of cat and mouse. If you like spy action movies, but also yearn for like the nostalgic angst of young adult, this is perfect for you. It is a little bit older than young adult. The characters are all in their early 20s, but it has like those very raw feelings that come with young adult books. Overall, this book was fast-paced, exciting, and deliciously angsty. I warned you about the animal violence in Hungry is the Night, so it's only fair. There is violence against children in this book. And the final indie book of 2024 that I read was The Sunset Sovereign by Laura Huie. This is another quick read. The audiobook was only about 5 hours long. It was narrated by Ethan Fifield. I probably should check this beforehand. Regardless of if I'm butchering poor Ethan's name or not, he did such an excellent job with this book. There are 2 main characters, one of which is Vakandi, a dragon, and his voice for Vakandi is so good and so rich. This book is, of course, about an evil dragon who's been terrorizing this city, so an adventurer goes up to the dragon's cage to finally put an end to it, only to discover the secret history of her city and the role that Vakandi has played. The book gives strong Dungeons and Dragons vibes just because of the vibes of the world building and the world in which it exists. I would compare it to The Hobbit if Smaug was nice. This book is cozy, it will warm your heart, and it is bittersweet. It was excellently written, just a very imaginative fantasy that goes a route that I haven't read before. And that concludes my 2024 of indie book reads. My goal for 2025 is to read more indie books, more YA books. I have plans to finish or catch up with the Legends of Pangaea, as well as the Assassin's Legacy books. I have some other books on my TBR, but we'll let you discover those as I finish them and report back here to let you know what I loved about these books. And with that, thank you for tuning in. Go read something indie and be nice to each other. Thanks!